Hello there, my name's Kevin Parson and I live and work in the Halston and Diss area, and as you've probably seen through some of our videos, we've been chatting with some of the local heroes, champions, and luckily we've been talking to some local businesses as well. And today I'm really delighted to have with me Richard Cranmer. Richard is worked around the Halston area for quite some time now. Hello Richard, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks Kevin.
Good, good. So obviously have a chat with you, Richard, and I'm intrigued because really sort of, I think your role at the moment is executive head teacher. Perhaps you can enlighten us all on obviously what that means.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. I'm not surprised you're a bit confused by it, because it's not really a phrase that has been very well known for long. But if I tell you what I do, so I've got two roles at the moment. One is executive head teacher, still of Archbishop Sancroft High School. And then the other one, which is a far bigger role for me, which is the CEO of St Benets Multi-Academy Trust. And in that I oversee 5 schools, which I'll tell you a bit more about if you'd like to know in a minute. So the executive head element came about in the last 18 months, 2 years, when the Multi-Academy Trust was formed, and I decided to apply to be CEO of that trust, but at the same time still maintain the role of head teacher at Sancroft. So although we've got a brilliant head of school, Rob Connolly, who I'm sure we'll hear about later, I'm still officially the head teacher on paper, so in terms of Ofsted and the DFE and so on, I'm still the head teacher at the high school, but the vast majority of my time is spent overseeing the other 4 schools in the trust.
And is that sort of to do with curriculum and sort of, educational standards, or is it now more of a sort of a desk job looking at finances and making sure it's paying its way?
Yeah, good question. It's a bit of all of that, Kevin, actually. Sometimes it frightens me, because someone reminded me the other day, you realise you are directly, personally accountable for the finance and the standards, academic standards, in all 5 of those schools. So it does occasionally keep me awake at night thinking, well, how can I have that influence over 5 schools when I'm not in any of those 5 schools for a length of time? So I suppose it's a bit of everything. I mean, I line manage each of the head teachers, so they're the ones doing the work on the ground. But at the end of the day, yeah, the buck stops with me as far as standards and finance.
So it's quite a big role for you then, really. Obviously with the 5 schools, and obviously it's, and 5 schools. I mean, obviously you'd need sort of each individual head teacher, because I'm sure sort of with a load of children, sort of, you've got to be there every day with them.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's 1,500 youngsters across the 5 schools. So we're talking about Diss Infant, Diss Junior, Dickleborough, Halston Primary, and of course Sancroft. So it's a large operation, a budget of about £6.5 million of public money. So I am absolutely accountable for the effective spending of that money. So it's exciting, and the favourite part of the role, without question, is working with those head teachers. And I'd like to think that even in our short period of time we've been working together, we're developing a really strong sense of teamwork and collaborative approach to, what is a really tricky job, as I know only too well, having been head teacher at Sancroft for 12 years now.
And so sort of, with because I think with the academies, didn't they sort of break away from the local authorities? So now you have more autonomy, and sort of you're funded direct from national government.
Yeah, that's exactly the case. I mean, officially, academies are state-funded independent schools, so they are independent of the local authority. And the governing body at Sancroft and myself as head spent a long time deciding whether the move to an academy was right, because we had a really good relationship with the local authority, always have done, and felt they've been a really important part of school development. But the opportunity came as a church school. We're the only church high school in Norfolk. The opportunity came to become part of a multi-academy trust, and we felt, governors felt, and I felt that the time was right to do that. Considering that there's only 1 or 2 high schools that have not converted, it made sense, to make that move.
And I didn't realise, I always thought it was just the high schools, but obviously it involves the primary schools as well.
Yep, from nursery actually. So from age 3 up to 16, my expertise clearly is in the secondary sector, but I'm learning fast about what happens in primary schools, you know, and even before that.
So, and obviously, I know that you, and as you say, you were effectively the head teacher, but you were head teacher at Archbishop Sancroft prior to that. So you spend a lot of time. How long have you spent actually living in Halston?
Well, I don't actually live in Halston. I live in Dereham, I must confess. So sadly, I don't live on the patch in Halston. But having started my headship there in 2008, I've become just so attached to that community, which I think is exceptional. You might think I'd say that, but I honestly believe that. And over the 12 years, the relationship and the work between the school and the community has grown exponentially to the point where we benefit so much from things that happen in the town, the partnerships, the informal and the formal relationship we've got with everyone in the town. It is exceptional. And
because I love Halston, because Halston is just a little, it's a South Norfolk market town. It's got its own identity. So what do you think it is about the Halston people that makes it sort of what it is?
That's a really good question, Kevin, because I have wondered that on a number of occasions. When I see the events, and I think it boils down to the passion of Halston residents about their town and the pride that they have in it is something I've never seen elsewhere. And you feel it, having now worked in that community. The way that the different organisations now want to work with the high school is just, it makes me so proud to be part of that community. So I guess there's some magic there, Kevin, in that town that people want to be part of. It's contagious. And you and I both know the characters who maybe are catalysts in that sort of passion, but it doesn't half spread and it's very easy to feel.
And in those 12 years that you've been associated with Halston, have you seen much change?
Well, the biggest change from a head teacher's point of view has been the way that we have been able to engage with the town. And that's not a criticism of the town, it's actually a criticism of me and the school, because I hadn't realised that on our doorstep was such a vibrant, passionate community. And if I was to think back to any of my regrets, or if I was to go through another headship, the first thing I would do would be to find someone like, or some organisation like the Business Forum or Rotary, because for us, they have transformed not only the profile of the school in the town, but also the opportunity to engage with the community and bring them into the school. So, you know yourself, there are so many opportunities now for careers education. We don't teach that in a classroom ourselves. What we do is we bring in people from business, from industry, from enterprise within the town, and we get them talking to our youngsters. And that is just magical when you see that happen. I think it's a win-win for everyone. It's certainly a win for the school, and I'd like to think it's a win for the community as well.
So if you was going to try and describe Halston and its people in one word, now whenever I've asked this question, it's always been a lot of words, but sort of, you know, if you was to try and describe sort of the Halston, the town, the people, what words would you describe the town and the people as?
Can I have more than one?
Yep.
Okay, I would say proud. So people are proud of Halston. And I've used the word already before, and I'd use it again, and that is passionate. So 2 P's, proud and passionate of what is a remarkable market town and a community that is very special.
And so finally, obviously we're in COVID-19, and we're going to have a chat shortly with Rob Connolly as well. But obviously we're in this coronavirus crisis, and we're sort of locked down to a certain extent, and it affects everybody. So if there's going to be something at the end of this, when we get back to it, it's not going to be normality, but at least when we escape from our lockdown, is there somewhere, cafe, restaurant, pub, shop, park, or somewhere that you just can't wait to go and visit?
Oh, Kevin, you give me the difficult question. How can I pick one? But you're going to make me, I know, because I know you. I think It would be, you might be surprised to hear this, but it would be Norman's Fish and Chips.
Right.
And I'll tell you why, because, and I know there are plenty of other really good places to eat in town, and I've eaten in most of them. But Norman's is a place where I tend to go when if we have a late parents' evening or a meeting where I've got to eat something, you know, while I'm at school. I pop down there and I just always get the most warmest, friendly welcome from the owners, or I guess they're the owners, the people who work there, who I think are really special people. And they always make me feel welcome. And we can, sometimes Rob and I even have a table for two, if there's both of us eating in there.
Fabulous chips is just, you know, and I don't know, are they open at the moment? Because I know a lot of chip shops.
I don't know, Kevin, but you know, as soon as they are, we'll get down there. And
yeah. Richard, I've really enjoyed that. That's been a great opportunity of having a chat with you. Thanks so much for your time, because I know you're a busy person. And if you know Richard and you'd like to make a comment, please do so at the bottom in the comment section. And also, if you know anyone like Richard or of any sort of profession who's or a local hero or sort of busy working away and sort of, you know, or want to highlight them, please do let me know, because I'd really love the opportunity to chat with them too. So just finally, Richard, thanks so much for your time. Look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thank you, Kevin.